So this video will be step by step on exactly how you can get your first 3 clients or your next 3 clients for your agency or for your B2B business immediately, as soon as possible. And this could be, within the next 2 weeks or within the next month or within the next week even. Depends on how you follow the steps that I'll be outlining in this video. So let's get into that. And before you ask, it is completely doable to sign like 3 clients in starting out, or your next 3 clients immediately with cold outbound. I'll be following these following steps in order to do this. The first thing you have to do is essentially make sure that you remove your limiting beliefs. Most people that I actually run into, even agency owners, marketing agency owners who are doing 300, 400, 500K per year, and they still don't think that doing cold outreach or cold email or cold DMs or even cold calling can get them more clients. They solely depend on word of mouth referrals from their existing clients, from their past clients. You know, they think that outreach just doesn't work, and it's just they'll be throwing money into the fire if they ever did some kind of cold email or cold calling or anything like that. And that's like the biggest limiting belief that you have to remove from yourself, because if you want to book clients, book calls and close clients, you have to understand that closing new clients from cold outreach is completely possible and doable. You just have to make sure that you understand these steps and have this math in mind so that you don't get surprised when it takes way more volume to close more clients through cold outreach than it does through warm inbound sources, right? For example, if you're doing any kind of content, or if you're getting referrals from your existing clients or past clients, or if you're popular in your particular area, your city or something, and you're getting clients from there, location based, people come to you. If they are coming to you, then it's like a uh, warm or inbound clients. These are way easier to close. If you close 75 to 80% or 80% of these inbound people, you're in a pretty good place. And the only thing that's uh, wrong with these inbound sources is that it's not predictable at a rate where you'll be getting 5 calls a week, or you'll be closing 1 client per week, or anything like that. You need to get extremely good at content, or refer, like, you need to get extremely popular in your location in order for you to get 5 calls a week or 5 leads a week or whatever, right? You have to do an enormous amount of content and at a very consistent pace over a large number of months or even years to get clients through content. It's not as easy as selling a course or selling a coaching offer. That's different. Like, that's B2C. B2B actually needs like an enormous amount of content to close clients, and that's all warm outbound. So if you do not want to rely on these referrals and these content based, or any of these inbound sources of clients, which are like completely unpredictable, you do not know how many referrals you'll get next month, right? It's just completely based on your luck and essentially people remembering you at suddenly and then sending more clients your way, right? So if you want a predictable source um, of clients, you need to do some kind of cold outbound or ads, right? Ads are also a good source, but I'm not going to be covering ads here because I've made other videos on that. Cold outbound is somewhat of a specialty of mine, so I'll be going deep into that. So essentially, number one is just making sure that you understand that how cold outbound works and how you can set it up for your own own business. And if you want, literally, if you want all of this done for you and just get like just attend sales calls that are booked directly into your calendar, just book a call with me and I'll be happy to help you out. So yeah, that's number one. The number two is essentially doing the math, right? So right here I said that 75 to 80% close rate is essentially normal in warm traffic. um, is normal in warm traffic, right? In cold traffic, you'll have around, if you're just starting out, you'll have around 20 to 25% close rate in cold traffic, right? You won't have more than that, and you can obviously take it higher if you start understanding how these people think, and you start getting more case studies, and if you start understanding how this kind of vertical things and what objections they'll be giving you on the call, and so on and so forth. You start getting ideas about, okay, should you do one call close, or two call close, or three call close. um, you know you start getting ideas by doing more volume. So if you're starting out, or if you're starting out in cold outbound or anything like that, then you need to assume around the 20 to 25% close rate. So you'll be closing. So if you take around 4 to 5 calls, you'll be closing one client for sure, right? That's the math. So doing the math is essential, and since I'm calculating here, you want to get 3 clients fast, so let's do the math here, right? For closing 3 clients immediately, you need how many calls? So at let's say 1 in 5, you need about, 15 calls to close. If you're closing one client per 5 calls, and you want to close 3 calls, you need 15 calls to close 3 clients. All right, at a 20% close rate, right? To get 15 calls, you'll need about, let's say, 30 uh, total positive replies, right? Positive replies are different from total replies. Total reply is a mix of not interested, out of office, and positive, right? So positive reply is a fraction of those total replies that you get in cold outbound, right? So let's say 40% of your total replies is positive, or for argument's sake, for making the math easier on me, because I hate doing math and in these videos, let's say 30% of your total replies is positive. So let's say your total replies that you got was 100 replies, right? So you got 100 replies, and let's say your reply rate was on average of like a bottom, like 2%, right? 1 to 2% is like the least you can go without completely blowing your infrastructure. 1 to 2% is like a very both industry low and industry average kind of thing in cold outbound, right? So you get a 2% reply rate. So in order to get 100 replies in total and a 2% reply rate, you'll need to have about so if you have a reply rate of 2%, you'll have to send about 5,000 emails in total, right? 5,000 emails, meaning, if you're doing 2 emails per lead, then it means that you'll have to have 2,500 contacts to send to in your cold outbound campaigns. Okay, that's the math. At a 2% reply rate, if you send 5,000 emails, you'll get about 100 replies. And if you are right, and this could be higher or lower depending on your vertical. So for example, in my case, for example, if I'm sending to, let's say, agencies, marketing agencies for my own, I do lead generation for any kind of web design, SEO, marketing, and PR agencies. So those people actually get lots of cold emails. So for me, the volume will be like 2x higher. So I'll have to send about 10,000 emails to close 2 to 3 more clients, right? So this is the math essentially. You'll have to reverse engineer how many contacts you want to reach, depending on what's your close rate, how many positive replies you want, and what percent of total replies do you think you'll get positive. This can also depend on your experience, and you can just assume the lowest amount if you're just starting out, or if you're just starting out doing cold outbound, shifting from warm outreach to cold outreach. So that's the math. That's the second step, right? The third step is essentially setting up infrastructure, right? So let's say you want to send 5,000 emails in total. So you'll have to get, like, let's say your company domain is abc.com. So you'll be getting a few different domains like getabc.com or growwithabc.com, or I don't know, like scaleabcco.com, like stuff like that. So adjacent domains that are completely different from your company domain, right? And these will all redirect to your company domain, which is your company domain, right? So you don't have to worry about your official company domain. This is all separate from your company domain, right? So you'll be setting up infrastructure. You'll be getting different mailboxes of Google and Outlook, whatever you want, or you can also do Azure, but that's a different conversation. Let's only talk about Google and Outlook in this case. For Google and Outlook, you'll be sending about, let's say, 10 emails per inbox, right? So if you reverse, once again, you have to do the math, reverse engineer it. So for 5,000 emails in a month, that means you have about 20 sending days per month. So that's 20 sending days per month. Um, so 20 sending days per month is essentially, um, so you need to send about 250 emails per day, right? So 250 emails per day. If you're sending 10 emails per inbox, you'll need 25 inboxes in total, right? So if you have 5 inboxes per domain, then you'll need 5 domains in total. So you buy 5 domains like these, right? You assign 5 inboxes per domain, and you can use something like Zapmail or InboxKit or Sending.ac if you want. Um, you get all of these, and then you warm up for about, um, where do I write? Okay, let's write it here. Warm up your inboxes for 2 to 3 weeks, minimum 2 weeks, or if you can, warm up until like 3 weeks, so 21 days. And after only 21 days of warm up, should you start sending emails? And you'll be sending, 10 emails per inbox on average. You can do 5 if you want to be safe, or you can do 15 as well. I try to do 10 to 15 always for my infrastructure, but yeah, exactly like this. So third step is done. That's your setting up infrastructure. In second, like between 15 to 22 days, you'll be starting your campaigns, right? Next will be your offer creation. So for marketing agencies, for example, I always try to do, some kind of extremely good offer that has a risk reversal and the timeline and the deliverable. So I do, for example, I saw that your business was, um, I saw that ABC Landscaping was taking all your calls by ranking second place on Google. Can I show you how to beat them in just 90 days? That's an offer. That's an SEO offer that you can easily run for your own agency. If you are doing any kind of landscaping or anything like that, you can literally just run that offer. If you are a marketing agency targeting landscapers or roofers, or you can make offers like these if you're doing SEO. Similarly, you can do stuff for PPC, pay-per-click ads, meta ads. If you're doing anything of that sort, you can do something like, um, I'll help you get 10 10 new I'll help you get 10 new roofing customers in the next 10 year 5 whatever, uh, 5 weeks or whatever, I'll have to get these many quotes or these many listings or these many whatever works, in your vertical, calls, listing, whatever the exact vocabulary is. So you'll construct your offer, and it has to be like a cold ready cold traffic offer, right? Once again, I have made many different, I think yesterday's video is completely focused on offers, so you can just watch that video if you want. I'll link it right here, up here somewhere. Or if you want a complete done for you solution, you can just book a call with me, and I'll be happy to take a look at your business and see if it makes sense for us to work together. um, I'll also link my complete cold outbound course. It's like a to Z course, 2 hour course on cold outbound. You can watch it from the description as well. But this is your offer creation, right? That's the fourth step. The fifth step will be essentially, starting your campaign and reply handling. That's it. Reply handling means you get to every reply in for like 5 minutes. And this, you can do this by having salespeople who literally monitor your inboxes in Smart Lead or Instantly, or just get Slack notifications, for example, and they reply immediately, or call up the lead or so on. So get to every single positive reply within 5 minutes, and that's the best way to actually book lots of sales calls. Like whenever a warm lead comes over, you do not have to actually wait for them to get cold again. You just have to get on them as soon as possible, and the best way is essentially hitting them up via email again, or calling them, or hitting them up on LinkedIn, or DMing them on Instagram, or whatever works in your vertical, right? If you're emailing coaches, for example, coaches and consultants, then you can just literally like DM them on Instagram, because whenever you actually scrape a list, you will have um, Instagram IDs of all these coaches. So you can easily, whenever you get a positive reply, just DM them on Instagram, and or call them if you have their number, and so on, right? So that's your offer creation. Essentially, I think I missed a step, right? Prospect offer creation, essentially, and you'll also have to scrape prospects. So scraping is extremely easy. You can just go to B2B databases like, so you can just go to B2B databases like, Apollo, or AI Arc, or Ocean.io, and so on. Or you can scrape Google Maps instead, using something like Outscraper, or, scrape.do, right? That's it. You just have to figure out where your customers live and just scrape all businesses. And this is extremely cheap. This will cost you only about like $100 to $200 uh, to get started, at least. To scrape about 2,500 to 3,000 contacts, you won't need more than $100 to $200, right? And you can use other sources as well. I do mention that in my full course, so make sure to check that out. That's the first link in the description. But yeah, that's essentially the entire step. And just once you start handling reply handling, this math will essentially work out, and you'll get at least uh, 30 total positive replies, and you'll get around at least 15 calls to close 3 clients if you're closing at 20%. If you're closing at 10%, for example, you'll need about you know double the amount, so you'll need 30 calls instead. But that's also doable, right? In the beginning, you can just instead of sending 5,000 people, you can just send like 7,000 people, and you'll be closing more clients, right? So that's the way you do it, and that's the way I will get 3 clients like as soon as possible. Any questions, hit them up, and I'll definitely respond to you in the comments. And otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.